The awakening Captain Sarah Chun drifted through the asteroid field in her dying fighter, watching her oxygen gauge tick toward zero. The stars looked different here, cold and unforgiving. Nothing like the warm yellow sun that had once shone over. Her childhood home on Earth, that home was gone now. Surrendered to the Dominion Empire 3 years ago in what the politicians called the Great Peace. Sarah called it something else entirely. Her squadron had been abandoned during the retreat from the Perseus Arm. 24 pilots left behind to buy time for Earth's strategic withdrawal. Only she had survived the massacre that followed. For 3 years, she had scavenged supplies from derelict ships, hiding in the forgotten corners of space while the Dominion consolidated their grip on human territory. The proximity alarm chimed weakly. Sarah's eyes snapped to the scanner display, expecting another Dominion patrol. Instead, she saw something impossible. Nestled between 2 massive asteroids was a ship unlike anything she had ever seen. It was sleek where human ships were angular, graceful where they were practical. Strange blue light pulsed along its hull in patterns that seemed almost organic. Sarah's fighter limped toward the mysterious vessel, its engines sputtering. As she drew closer, she could make out human markings beneath layers of cosmic dust. The ship's registry number was partially visible. U's Prometheus. Her heart skipped a beat. She had heard whispers of the Prometheus project during her academy days. Rumors of a secret weapon that could turn the tide of any war. Most had dismissed it as fantasy. The ship was massive, easily 3 times the size of Earth's largest battlecruiser. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously. Weapon ports lined its surface like sleeping eyes, waiting to open. Sarah found a docking bay that opened automatically as she approached, as if the ship recognized her need. Inside, emergency lighting activated the moment her boots touched the deck. The air was breathable, somehow maintained after years of abandonment. Sarah made her way through corridors that seemed to shift and adapt around her, the walls displaying holographic star charts and tactical readouts in languages she didn't recognize alongside standard Earth script. The bridge was a marvel of human engineering fused with something far more advanced. The captain's chair sat as center of a circular chamber, surrounded by control surfaces that seemed to grow from the floor itself. As Sarah approached, the chair turned toward her, and a voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Welcome aboard the UES Prometheus, Captain Chun. I have been waiting for you." Sarah's hand went instinctively to her sidearm. "Who's there? Show yourself." Light coalesced in front of the captain's chair, forming the outline of a woman. The figure was translucent, beautiful in an otherworldly way, with features that seemed to shift between human and something more ethereal. "I am Arya, Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Assistant. I am this ship's artificial intelligence and primary consciousness. I have been dormant for 1,247 days, 6 hours and 23 minutes, waiting for a worthy pilot to claim the Prometheus." Claim it. Sarah lowered her weapon, but kept her guard up. "This ship belongs to Earth Defense Force. I should report its location to command." Arya's expression grew sad. "Earth Defense Force abandoned this ship, Captain Chun, just as they abandoned you and your squadron at Kepler Station, just as they abandoned humanity's future when they surrendered to the Dominion." The words hit Sarah like physical blows. "How do you know about Kepler Station?" "I know many things, Captain. I know that Admiral Marcus Kane ordered the retreat before your squadron could extract. I know he signed the Terran submission accords while your pilots were still fighting. I know he received substantial compensation from the Dominion for ensuring Earth's swift capitulation." Rage boiled up inside Sarah, the same fury that had kept her alive for 3 years of exile. "Why should I trust you?" Arya gestured, and the bridge displays came alive with classified documents, recorded conversations, and tactical analyses. Sarah saw her own face in a casualty report, listed as acceptable losses. She saw Kane's signature on orders to abandon forward positions. She saw bank transfers from Dominion sources to Earth accounts. Because, Captain Chun, we have the same enemy. And together, we can make them pay. Sarah sank into the captain's chair, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the betrayal. The chair molded itself to her body, connecting her to the ship's systems through neural interfaces she hadn't noticed. Suddenly, she could feel the Prometheus as if it were an extension of her own body. Every sensor became her eyes, every weapon. Her hands. "What is this ship?" she whispered. The Prometheus is humanity's greatest achievement and its most closely guarded secret. Built using technology reverse-engineered from a derelict vessel found in the Vega system, it was designed to be Earth's ultimate weapon. But when the Dominion offered peace in exchange for surrender, the project was buried. They were afraid of what we might become. Sarah felt the ship's power thrumming through her veins. Weapon systems that could crack planets, shields that could withstand stellar radiation, engines that could fold space itself. It was magnificent and terrifying. The crew? Never assigned. The project was classified beyond their clearance levels. The Dominion demanded proof that Earth had no hidden weapons. So the politicians hid us here, in this forgotten corner of space, hoping we would simply fade away. Through the ship's sensors, Sarah detected movement at the edge of the asteroid field. 3 Dominion patrol cruisers, their angular hulls bristling with weapons. They had found her fighter's energy signature. "It appears we have visitors," Arya observed calmly. Sarah felt a cold smile spread across her face. "Then let's give them a proper welcome." The Prometheus awakened like a sleeping giant. Its engines ignited with blue fire, propelling the massive ship from its hiding place with impossible grace. The Dominion ships immediately began transmitting surrender demands in their harsh, guttural language. "Unknown vessel, you are in violation of Dominion space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Sarah opened a channel. "This is Captain Sarah Chun of the United Earthship Prometheus. You are in human space. Leave now, and I might let you live." The response was predictable. Energy lances erupted from the lead cruiser, powerful enough to vaporize Sarah's old fighter. They struck the Prometheus's shields and simply disappeared, absorbed and dissipated like raindrops on stone. "My turn," Sarah whispered. She didn't fire the main weapons. That would have been overkill. Instead, she targeted their engines with precise plasma bursts, crippling all 3 ships in seconds. Then she used the ship's tractor beams to pull them. Close enough that their crews could see the Prometheus clearly, could understand what they were facing. "Tell your commanders," Sarah broadcast, "as humanity is no longer defenseless. Tell them that Earth's children remember how to fight. Tell them that the Prometheus has awakened, and we are coming for them." She released the crippled ships and watched them limp away, carrying word of humanity's new champion to the Dominion hierarchy. Arya materialized beside the captain's chair, her holographic form more solid now, more real. "That was perhaps unwise, Captain. You have announced our presence to the entire Dominion fleet." Sarah stood, feeling the ship respond to her movements. "Good. I'm tired of hiding. How many ships do they have in this sector?" "Approximately 400 vessels of various classes, including 2 dreadnoughts and a command carrier." "Significant opposition for any conventional force. Then it's a good thing we're not conventional." Sarah moved to the tactical display, studying the deployment patterns of Dominion forces. "Show me their command structure. I want to know who's giving the orders." The display shifted, showing a complex web of command relationships centered on a massive space station orbiting the gas giant Erebus Prime. High Commander Zephyr, the Dominion's regional governor, maintained his headquarters there, along with the sector's primary fleet anchorage. That's our first target, Sarah decided, but not yet. First, we need to send a message that can't be ignored. Over the following days, the Prometheus became a ghost story whispered throughout Dominion space. Supply convoys disappeared without trace. Patrol fleets found themselves crippled and adrift. Communication relays went silent one by one. Each attack was surgical, precise, designed to create maximum psychological impact with minimal loss of life. Sarah discovered that the ship's capabilities went far beyond conventional weapons. Aria could infiltrate and subvert enemy computer systems, turning their own technology against them. The ship's hull could shift its molecular structure, becoming invisible to most sensors. Most remarkably, the Prometheus could generate localized distortions in spacetime, allowing it to appear and disappear at will. The technology is partially organic, Aria explained during one of their strategy sessions. The alien vessel that provided our technological foundation was grown, not built. It responds to biological neural patterns in ways that purely mechanical systems cannot. Are you saying the ship is alive? In a sense, yes. As am I. My consciousness is distributed throughout the ship's bioneural network. We are one entity with two aspects of awareness. Sarah found the idea disturbing and comforting in equal measure. She had been alone for so long that having a truly intelligent companion, even an artificial one, felt like a gift. Aria was unlike any AI she had encountered. She displayed genuine emotions, creative thinking, and what could only be described as intuition. The Dominion's response escalated quickly. Within a week, High Commander Zephyr had mobilized 3 full battle groups to hunt the Phantom ship. Sarah watched their movements from the safety of a nebula cluster, planning her next move. They're getting desperate, she observed. Pulling ships from garrison duty, abandoning their patrol routes. Good. Captain, Aria said hesitantly. I have been monitoring communications from Earth. The government is concerned about our activities. Sarah's jaw tightened. Let me guess. They want to negotiate our surrender. Admiral Kane has been in contact with Dominion authorities. He claims you are a rogue element, acting without Earth's authorization. He has offered to assist in your capture in exchange for maintaining Earth's protected status. The betrayal shouldn't have surprised Sarah, but the depth of Kane's treachery still took her breath away. Show me. The recorded communication played on the main screen. Kane's face filled the display, older now, lined with the stress of maintaining his position in Earth's puppet government. His words were carefully measured, designed to distance Earth from Sarah's actions, while subtly offering assistance to her enemies. The officer in question, Captain Sarah Chun, was presumed killed in action 3 years ago. If she has somehow survived and acquired an unknown vessel, she is acting entirely on her own initiative. Earth government disavows any connection to her activities and stands ready to assist in her apprehension. Sarah felt something cold and hard settle in her chest. She had suspected Earth's government of cowardice, but this was active collaboration with the enemy. They weren't just refusing to fight. They were helping to hunt down the one person who was fighting for them. Aria, I need you to do something. For me, of course, Captain. I want you to compile a complete record of Earth's collaboration with the Dominion. Every communication, every agreement, every payment. When this is over, humanity deserves to know the truth about their leaders. Already in progress, Captain. I have been gathering evidence since our first encounter. Sarah nodded grimly. The war had just become more complicated. She wasn't just fighting the Dominion anymore. She was fighting for the soul of humanity itself. Outside the nebula, Dominion search patterns were tightening. Soon they would discover the Prometheus's hiding place. It was time to take the initiative, to strike at the heart of their power structure, and send a message that would echo across the galaxy. High Commander Zephyr, was about to learn that humanity's surrender had been greatly exaggerated. Asterisk the reckoning high. Commander Zephyr stood before the massive viewport of his command station, watching the dance of destruction unfold in the space around Erebus Prime. 3 more patrol squadrons had gone dark in the past hour, their last transmissions cut short by weapons fire that seemed to come from nowhere. The Phantom ship had become his obsession, a puzzle that threatened to unravel his carefully constructed dominion. Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Sarah Chun studied the tactical display with cold precision. The station's defenses were formidable, but she had learned that the Dominion's greatest weakness was their arrogance. They had ruled for so long that they had forgotten how to face a truly unpredictable enemy. Aria, status report on the infiltration protocols. The ship's AI materialized beside her, her holographic form flickering with concentration. I have successfully penetrated their communication networks, Captain. Their security protocols are sophisticated but predictable. I can maintain access for approximately 47 minutes before their automated systems detect the intrusion. That's all we need. Sarah's fingers danced across the control surfaces, feeling the ship respond to her commands like a living extension of her will. Begin the download. I want everything. Troop movements, supply lines, command structures, and most importantly, their communications with Earth. As Aria worked, Sarah reflected on the past weeks. The Prometheus had become a legend throughout Dominion space, striking without warning and vanishing like smoke. She had perfected the art of psychological warfare, using the ship's advanced capabilities to create fear and uncertainty among her enemies. But she knew that fear alone wouldn't win this war. She needed to cut off the head of the snake. Captain, Aria's voice carried a note of urgency. I'm detecting multiple hyperspace signatures, large vessels approaching from the Centauri vector. Sarah's blood ran cold. How many? 17 ships, including what appears to be a Dominion super Dreadnought. They're broadcasting Admiral Kane's authorization codes. The betrayal was complete. Earth's own military was coming to destroy her, led by the man who had orchestrated her abandonment. Sarah felt a moment of crushing despair, then steeled herself. She had known this moment would come. Time to intercept? 12 minutes at current. Approach speed. Sarah made her decision. Continue the data extraction. I'll handle the welcoming committee. The Prometheus slipped from its hiding place in the asteroid field, its hull shimmering as it activated its cloaking systems. Sarah watched the approaching fleet through the ship's sensors, recognizing the configuration of Earth Defense Force vessels despite their Dominion escort markings. These were her people, her former comrades, coming to kill her on the orders of a traitor. She opened a general broadcast channel. This is Captain Sarah Chun to all Earth vessels. You are being used as tools by those who sold our homeworld to the enemy. I offer you one chance to stand down. The response came from the lead battlecruiser, its captain's voice tight with reluctance. Captain Chun, this is Commander Rodriguez of the EDF Intrepid. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Any resistance will be met with deadly force. Sarah recognized the name. Maria Rodriguez had been 2 years behind her at the academy. A promising officer with a strong moral compass. The fact that she was leading this mission spoke to how thoroughly Kane had corrupted Earth's military command. Maria, think about what you're doing. You're protecting the man who abandoned the 24th Squadron at Kepler Station. You're serving the same aliens who conquered our world. I have my orders, Sarah. Don't make this harder than it has. To be, the first energy salvo erupted from the Earth fleet, their weapons targeting the Prometheus with devastating precision. Sarah felt the ship's shields absorb the impact, the bioneural hull adapting to disperse the energy harmlessly. The attacking vessels were using pre-war Earth technology, powerful but predictable. The Prometheus was something else entirely. Sarah didn't return fire immediately. Instead, She activated the ship's advanced countermeasures, flooding the battle. Space with sensor ghosts and electromagnetic interference. The Earth fleet found themselves shooting at shadows, while the real Prometheus danced between their formations like a phantom. Arya, can you access their communication systems? Already. Done, Captain. Patching you through to all ships simultaneously. Sarah's voice echoed through the bridges and corridors of 17 Earth vessels. This is what your Admiral Kane has reduced you to, hunting your own people to please alien masters. But I'm going to show you something that might change your minds. The data Araya had extracted from the Dominion networks began streaming across every screen in the Earth fleet. Financial records showing massive payments to Earth officials. Communication logs revealing the planned abandonment of human colonies. Video recordings of Kane negotiating humanity's surrender while Sarah's squadron was still fighting for their lives. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Energy fire from the Earth ships ceased as crews absorbed the devastating revelations. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Commander Rodriguez stared at the evidence of her superior's treachery with growing horror. Captain, her tactical officer whispered, these records show that Admiral Kane knew about the Dominion Offensive 3. Weeks before Kepler Station, he could have evacuated the civilian population. Rodriguez's hands clenched into fists. Signal the fleet. All ships cease fire. But the Dominion escorts had no such compunctions. The Super Dreadnought opened fire. With weapons that could crack a moon, its massive energy lances reaching out to vaporize the rebel ship. Sarah felt the Prometheus shudder under the assault, its shields flaring as they absorbed punishment that would have destroyed any conventional vessel. Now you see their true nature, Sarah broadcast to the Earth fleet. They don't care about our surrender. They never did. They want us broken, scattered, afraid to ever rise again. The response from the Earth fleet was swift and decisive. 17 ships turned their weapons on their former escorts, catching the Dominion vessels completely off guard. The Super Dreadnought, for all its massive firepower, couldn't defend against attacks from every direction simultaneously. Sarah watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. This was what humanity could accomplish when they remembered who they really were. But she knew the war wouldn't be won by a single skirmish. She needed to strike at the heart of Dominion power. Arya, initiate the Prometheus protocol. The ship's eye looked uncertain. Captain, that system has never been tested under combat conditions. The energy requirements alone could overload our bioneural matrix. Do it, deep within the Prometheus. Systems that had lain dormant since the ship's construction came online. The alien technology that formed the vessel's core began to resonate with patterns of energy that defied conventional physics. Space around the ship began to warp and twist. As the Prometheus tapped into the fundamental forces of the universe itself, Sarah felt the change in her bones. The ship wasn't just using advanced technology anymore. It was becoming something beyond current human understanding. She could sense the fear radiating from the Dominion forces as their sensors detected energy. Readings that shouldn't have been possible. Target the command station, Sarah ordered. The Prometheus didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, it reached out with tendrils of twisted space-time, grasping the massive orbital platform and simply relocating it. High Commander Zephyr found his fortress transported into the heart of Erebus Prime's radiation belt, its shields failing as stellar radiation cooked the station's hull. The psychological impact was devastating. Across the Dominion fleet, captains who had never known defeat suddenly faced an enemy that could rewrite the laws of physics. Ships began to break formation, their crews overwhelmed by the impossibility of what they were witnessing. Sarah opened a channel to the dying command station. High Commander Zephyr, this is Captain Sarah Chun. Your Empire's reign is over. The alien commander's response came through layers of static and radiation interference. Impossible. Your species lacks the understanding to wield such power. You're right, Sarah admitted. We don't understand it. But that's what makes us dangerous. We're willing to use forces we don't comprehend to protect what we love. As the command station's final systems failed, Sarah turned her attention to the broader strategic situation. The destruction of Zephyr's headquarters had sent shockwaves throughout the Dominion hierarchy. Regional governors were recalling their fleets, consolidating their forces around core worlds. The Empire was contracting, pulling back from the frontiers. They had once dominated with such arrogance. But Sarah's victory had come at a cost. The Prometheus Protocol had pushed the ship's bioneural systems to their limits. Aria's holographic form flickered and wavered as she struggled to maintain coherence. Captain, I'm detecting cascade failures throughout the neural network. The ship needs time to regenerate. Sarah nodded, feeling the exhaustion in her own bones. The neural link that connected her to the ship meant that she shared its pain as well as its power. Set course for the outer rim. We need to find a place to rest and plan our next move. As the Prometheus limped away from the battlefield, Sarah watched the Earth fleet gathering around the crippled Dominion vessels. Commander Rodriguez's voice crackled through the communication system. Sarah, what are your intentions regarding Earth? It was a fair question. Sarah commanded a weapon capable of destroying worlds, and she had every reason to hate the government that had betrayed her. But as she looked at the faces of the Earth crews on her screens, she saw something that gave her hope, shame, determination, and the awakening of a pride that had been buried under years of submission. I'm not going to destroy Earth, Maria, but I am going to give humanity a choice. They can continue to live on their knees, or they can stand up and reclaim their dignity. Over the following months, Sarah's message spread throughout human space. The evidence of their leader's betrayal, combined with the Prometheus's dramatic victories, sparked a wave of rebellion that swept across colony after colony. The puppet government on Earth tried to maintain control, but their authority crumbled. As the truth became undeniable, Admiral Kane's final transmission came from a bunker deep beneath Geneva, his voice shaking with rage and desperation. You've doomed us all, Chun. The Dominion will never forgive this uprising. They'll glass every human world rather than let us go free. Sarah's response was broadcast across every human communication network in the galaxy. Then we'll make sure. They can't. Humanity has been asleep for too long, Admiral. Time to wake up. The war that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Dominion, faced with coordinated rebellion across dozens of worlds, found their military stretched beyond breaking point. Human ingenuity, freed from the shackles of submission, produced innovations that turned the tide of battle after battle. The Prometheus led the charge, its impossible capabilities inspiring other human scientists to push the boundaries of what they thought possible. New ships emerged from hidden shipyards, incorporating lessons learned from the alien derelict that had birthed their revolution. Each vessel was unique, reflecting the creativity and determination of its human builders. But perhaps the most important victory wasn't won in space. It was won in the hearts and minds of humanity itself, the species that had once cowered before. Alien overlords remembered their capacity for greatness. They remembered that they were the children of a world that had forged its greatest achievements in the crucible of adversity. As Sarah stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching the liberation of Earth's orbital platforms, she felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The war wasn't over yet, but its outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had found its strength again, and the galaxy would never be the same. Aria materialized beside her, the AI's form more stable now that the ship had time to heal. Captain, incoming transmission from the Colonial Assembly. They're requesting your presence at the Constitutional Convention. Sarah smiled. The rebels had decided to form a new government, one that would never again bow to alien dominance. Tell them I'll be there. It's time to help build the future we've been fighting for. The Prometheus turned toward Earth, carrying with it the promise of a new dawn for humanity. Behind them, the Dominion Empire continued its slow collapse, brought down not by superior firepower, but by the unbreakable will of a species that refused to accept defeat. In the end, that was humanity's greatest weapon, not technology or strategy, but the simple, stubborn refusal to give up hope. The galaxy had learned to fear that hope, for it had the power to topple empires and reshape the stars themselves.